Quinn Williams has removed the New York Jets from his social media. Quan Alexander is meeting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no need to panic.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be talking about Quinn Williams removing the New York Jets from his social media and Quan Alexander visiting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And why New York Jets fans, we shouldn't panic about either one of those things. I know a lot of people really wanted to bring back Quan Alexander. And we'll talk about that after we talk about the Quinn situation, because I think the Quinn situation is an even easier topic. One, guys, it's May 15th. Calm down. Two, we have control over Quinn for the next 3 years. Don't worry about it, right? We have the 5th-year option and 2 franchise tags. I'm not concerned about it. And then you see the report that Quinn Williams wants $25 to $30 million. And the reality is that his deal should be closer to $25 million than it should be to $30 million. You're not going to get Aaron Donald money. Aaron Donald won the Super Bowl. And I think the other sticking point is term. If you're Quinn Williams, you want a short deal with a larger number. If you're the New York Jets, you want a longer-term deal at a shorter number. And the reason, if you're Quinn and you want a shorter deal, is because you're going to bet that you're going to stay elite. And if you are staying elite, you don't necessarily care about the job security. Quinn Williams doesn't get hurt very often, and he is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL. And if he gets hitting back to the market more often and more quickly, his cap number or his dollar amount that he will make year over year will just keep going up. It does not benefit the player at all to sign a long-term deal. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got like a $500 million deal over 10 years, and that's great. That's awesome for Patrick Mahomes. But who benefited from that deal? The Kansas City Chiefs. They have control over Patrick Mahomes for the next 6 or 7 more years. And there's nothing that Patrick Mahomes can do it. So as he sees quarterbacks come and get more money and more money and more money, and he is sitting there as the best quarterback in football, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. He can't go out there and renegotiate. This is going to sound really weird, but it's the Kirk Cousins of it all. Kirk knows that he doesn't get hurt and that he plays at a level that there will always be a market for Kirk Cousins. So he signs 2 or 3 year deals because he can hit the market every 2 or 3 years. This is going to be the new debate, and this is going to be the new thing that GMs and agents are going to have to argue on. What is, one, the percentage of the cap, which I think is going to be the important thing that agents are going to start focusing on. It's not actual cap dollars, but what is the percentage of the cap? Because the argument should always be percentage of the cap, not cap dollar, not actual physical cap dollars. And the reason for that is the cap keeps going up. And if a quarterback gets paid, let's just for easy math, and it's way more money than this, but let's say for easy math, it's 25% of the cap, which would come out to be, I think it's like a $200 million cap right now. So that would be like $45 million a year. Well, if the cap goes up to $250 million a year, well, 25% of the cap is a lot more money. And that's how much money you should be making, because that's how much money the previous quarterback made in terms of percentage of the cap. So I think agents are going to start using that more and more often, which is what is the percentage of the cap that you're willing to allocate to my player, because that's going to mean that they're going to ultimately get more money. But the second thing is going to be shorter term deals. Hey, I want 13% of the cap, but I only want to be in here for 2 years. And I only want one of those years guaranteed, because then I can get out after the second year and I can hit the market again. Or I want a 3-year deal where 2 of those years are guaranteed so that I can hit the market in year 3 and you don't really have any leverage and that's the whole point. These arguments and these conversations are going to happen. But again, guys, it's May 15th. It's not that big of a deal. We got more than enough time. I don't think that the relationship is fractured. I don't think that there's anything wrong yet. I thought that the relationship was fractured between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And they made up. They're there. They're going to have their quarterback for the next however many years that they signed him. It's fantastic. They can continue being regular season warriors and not accomplishing anything in the playoffs because they don't have a quarterback that plays playoff football. But that's besides the point. We're not here to roast the Ravens, even though I just did. But now let's talk about Quan Alexander, the linebacker. And I know a lot of people are worried about the linebacker position. First of all, don't be. The linebacker position for the New York Jets does not have to be as deep or as good as people, or it doesn't need to be as good, but it doesn't need to be as deep as people expect. Last year, the New York Jets played like 72% of their snaps out of the nickel, which means they brought in a third cornerback and got rid of a third linebacker, which meant that a guy like Quan, if you remove the 2 games he started because Quinn Williams got hurt, he only played about 42.3% of the snaps that year. That's not a lot. And we also have to take into consideration that Jamien Sherwood is going into year 3. And this is the put up or shut up year. And here's the thing that I keep going back to, the New York Jets and Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh's best developmental room, if you look at all of his time as a defensive coordinator, has always been the linebacker room. Being able to find diamonds in the roughs, players of no names, and turning them into legitimate linebackers in his system. And I do honestly believe that Jamien Sherwood is the next guy to fit that mold. The New York Jets wanted Jamien Sherwood to be the Mike linebacker of the future. Remember in year 1, his rookie year before he got hurt, they had Jamien Sherwood not only playing the middle linebacker role, but they also gave him the sticker, which meant his helmet was the one that was getting the calls from the defensive coordinator. And they really wanted to move C.J. Mosley to the will linebacker role. Now, because of injuries and because of not being able to start at the beginning of the season and all of these different things, the linebacker room forced the Jets' hand to go out and get Quinn Williams, who performed above average, to go out and get Quan Alexander because these guys were hurt. Well, now they're healthy. And a move putting Jamien Sherwood in the Mike linebacker will alleviate the ability or the need for Quan Alexander. Why? 1, because if Jamien Sherwood can play the Mike, remember that he is younger and faster laterally than C.J. Mosley. He has sideline to sideline speed, and that's what you need in the Mike linebacker room. And C.J. doesn't have that anymore. But where does C.J. shine in the linebacker room? 1 is in his run defense and playing around the box. And that's what we ask our will linebackers to do, is play around the box and be run support. Your responsibility is to be and fill the gaps. And that's what C.J. Mosley does so well. And then by moving Quincy out of the will and into the Sam and giving him that rotational Quan Alexander role, it allows us to use Quincy how he shines in the run game and as a big hitter in those situations when they're stacking the box, when we know it's a running down and we can put 7, 8 guys in the box and be ready for the run. And that's where Quincy's going to shine. So I'm not worried about Quan going to Pittsburgh because, 1, we all should have expected this. Quan Alexander said this when he came to the New York Jets, that his goal is to get another big payday, and that's what he's going to achieve. But the other thing is he doesn't just want to be another guy. He wants to be a starter. And Pittsburgh lost both of their starting linebackers. They have not replaced them with anybody that's really worth anything. And if you take last year as a sign of what his health can be in terms of Quan Alexander, well, if you're getting a healthy Quan Alexander, that is a really good linebacker. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be more than willing to dedicate, 1, financially to him and to give him long-term, because he is reaching the point to where he's only got one more big deal in him before he loses his value as a linebacker. So it makes a ton of sense. Don't panic. We don't need these guys 100%. Well, we need Quinnen. I'm not telling you. Don't panic about the Quinnen situation. He will be a New York Jet. Quan Alexander was a luxury, and I don't think that he is a 100% need. I think we're going to be fine in the linebacker room. Remember that we got Quan really late last year, and there are linebackers that are still out there that maybe we can find and revitalize their career, just like we did with Quan Alexander. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Yeah, and last but not least, go Jets.